Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. At the start of a new year, many people make a New Year resolution. Resolutions run the gamut from losing weight to learning a new skill or hobby. For this year, Chef Marco is resolved to eating healthier. So for his first recipe segment of the year, Marco is sharing recipes that are low in calories, including ideas for breakfast and dessert. Here's Marco.
Thank you, Fran. I'm Marco Ayala. And before we get to recipes this month, I have the responsibility to share some sad news with all of you, our Across the Fence viewers. Longtime collaborator and friend of this broadcast, and specifically the cooking show, Carolyn Peake, passed away on December 25th peacefully in her home in Williamstown, Vermont. Carolyn's collaboration with Across the Fence started about 20 years ago when she told former producer Lynn Jarvis, "You should have me on your show." And that started a great friendship and hundreds of recipes delivered every first Thursday of the month into your living rooms. Every January in Across the Fence, we feature healthy recipes. And to honor Carolyn, I decided to make one of her recipes. So I went through our extensive archives and I dug out this recipe from 2015. It's a crustless quiche. And I do remember her saying that this recipe is not only very good, but it also cuts down on the calories because there is no crust and it's packed with a lot of great veggies. However, it doesn't skim on taste because, as we all know, Carolyn likes good food. So there is a fair amount of great Vermont cheddar here. So let me tell you how she put this together. First, you're gonna finely chop one small onion. Then you're gonna slice 5 fresh mushrooms. Then, in a bowl, you're gonna add 3 ounces reduced fat cream cheese and 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 1 cup fat-free milk, and you're gonna beat it until it's nice and smooth. Then you're gonna add 1 cup egg substitute. And the key to this recipe is to use fat-free or reduced fat ingredients because this is going to really reduce the calories. However, it's ingredients that you know and you love and you're gonna want to eat. Then you're gonna add 3 cups reduced fat shredded cheddar cheese, 1 cup chopped broccoli, 3 cups frozen chopped spinach that has been thawed and squeezed dry. Then you're gonna add the mushrooms and the onion and make sure to stir it well. Then you're gonna grease a 10-inch quiche pan or large pie plate. Pour the quiche mixture into the pie plate and bake it at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes or until a knife inserted near the center comes out clean. And that is it. If there was something that Carolyn was very well known for, other than eating dessert first, was precisely the fact that she liked great recipes that were easy to make. And let me show you this quiche. Look how good that looks. There's a lot of great ingredients there that you and your family are really going to enjoy. And I really hope that you give it a try. In the near future, we will have a chance to talk a little bit more about that 20-year collaboration that Carolyn had with Across the Fence. In the meantime, we want to send our deepest condolences to her family in Williamstown, and of course, to all of you who were her friends and welcome her every month in your living rooms. And we're back with more recipes. January is that time of the year where we make some resolutions to maybe lose some weight, maybe eat better, and something that we sometimes forget about is also good eating habits. A lot of us, me included, skip breakfast, and breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day because it's what gets our metabolism going for the day. And that kind of like also helps crush all those cravings and helps you not eat in between meals. So I wanted to make a recipe for breakfast, and that's how I came up with the idea to make this breakfast strawberry cream cheese oatmeal cakes. And let me tell you, these are absolutely delicious. They're very easy to make and they're very healthy. So let me tell you how to put them together. First, in a small bowl, you're gonna combine 1/4 cup reduced fat cream cheese, and 1 tablespoon strawberry jam. And then you're gonna whisk them until they're completely combined. Then, in a separate bowl, you're gonna combine 3 cups old-fashioned rolled oats, 1 1/4 cups low-fat milk, 1/3 cup packed brown sugar, 1/4 cup unsweetened applesauce, 2 lightly beaten eggs, 1 teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, half a cup chopped strawberries, and stir all the ingredients together until they're well combined. And if you notice, we're not using flour, we're not using oil, and we're using very little sugar for these little cakes. And why is that? Well, because there is a lot of ways to substitute all those ingredients that are really not great for our bodies for healthier alternatives that are going to actually keep you on track, but they're not going to deprive you from the taste, which makes you much more apt to keep it up. Then you're gonna grease a muffin tray and fill each of the prepared muffin cups with 2 to 3 tablespoons batter. Once all the batter is evenly divided, top it with 1 dollop of the cream cheese and jam mixture. Top it with some of the remaining strawberries and bake it at 375 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And this recipe is very easy to make, it's delicious, and the most important part is that this is a recipe that you can customize to the different seasons and the different fruits that are available. And I just want you to check that mixture in there, and then the cake is perfectly made. I really think that you're going to enjoy this, and this is going to be a great start to your day and a great start to better eating habits. But let's not forget dessert. So follow me here to my fridge because our dessert is one that has to be kept cool. And these are blueberry walnut bars. And you won't believe how good this is. And again, we're using a lot of ingredients that we're substituting for better for you options. So let me tell you how to put it together. First, in a bowl, you're gonna combine 2/3 cup chopped walnuts, half a cup graham cracker crumbs, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1/3 cup old-fashioned oats, and 3 tablespoons melted reduced fat butter. Mix it well and press it into the bottom of an 8-inch square baking dish. Then you're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for 9 to 11 minutes or until set and the edges are lightly browned. And if you notice, we're not using any flour. Instead, we're using some graham cracker crumbs, rolled oats, and nuts. And that is great because that adds a little bit of protein there to the crust. So now, let me tell you how to make the filling. First, in a bowl, you're gonna beat 8 ounces reduced fat cream cheese with 1/3 cup sugar. Then you're gonna add half a teaspoon vanilla extract and 1 tablespoon orange juice. Then you're gonna add 2 tablespoons blueberry preserves and mix it well. However, if we only use cream cheese, this filling is going to be pretty dense. So we needed something in there to make it a little fluffier. So how about some whipped topping? Then, carefully, you're gonna fold in half a cup reduced fat whipped topping and 1.5 cups fresh blueberries. Spread the mixture over the crust and refrigerate it until ready to serve. And that is it. Isn't that an easy way to make a dessert that the whole family is going to enjoy, but that most importantly, it's a little bit guilt-free because there's only 160 calories in each serving of this dessert. Granted that you want to make them bar-sized. So I really hope you give this a try. I am not going to attempt taking one bar out because I know that it's gonna crumble and it's gonna go everywhere. So instead, I am going to show you how great that crust looks. And then you can see there on the side how the 2 layers meet together. And there is fruit, there is some cream cheese in there, and this dessert is a winner in my book. So I hope you give all of these recipes a try, and I hope that this year brings you a lot of success in all those resolutions that you're taking to start the year. So on that note, also remember to follow Across the Fence on social media. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all the latest updates of Across the Fence right on your phone or your computer. And on that note, as I always say, from my kitchen to your kitchen, happy cooking.
Thank you, Marco. And a reminder that you can find our recipe archives on the Across the Fence website. The archives go back more than a decade, so you'll find plenty of menu choices. And that's our program for today. Once again, thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.